bit of a sigh of relief, didn't I?
Yeah, it was. It was. Look, they're a quality side, as we know. They're a side that's charging and trying to find a place in the 8, as are we. So it was always going to be a tough challenge. I thought for 3 quarters we were very, very good. Probably the challenge is, when there's a side that's probably down 5 or 6 goals, they've got nothing to lose, so they run and they get ball forward, sort of thing. So there's some stuff there that we'll certainly learn. Arresting momentum, I think, is a thing within AFL at the moment that's really, really challenging at times to time, and we probably lost momentum of the game. And Adelaide took their chances. They're probably cream rose to the top with Rochelle and a couple of crucial goals in that last quarter together with Rankin. So we'll get better. As I said, we're learning what we're trying to do. There's some really positive signs over the first 3 quarters. I thought we looked great.
I think you spoke about this last week too, where you were 10 or 11 goals up at one point, and you spoke about the difficulty of keeping players on the same page. So is that going to be a focus in the coming week about trying to sort of lock those runs at momentum? Yeah,
it is a little bit, and it's we spoke about it a little bit. We haven't done a lot of situational training, if that makes sense. We're learning a game style, and I heard someone else speak about it during the week. So it's one of those ones that we've done a little bit of it, but we started to get some stuff sorted towards the back end of the quarter, which was okay. But I thought I was really happy for the last 2.5, 3.5 minutes. We sort of stifled the scoring sort of thing, and the ball was just going back and forward. We sort of didn't look like scoring, but we sort of thought we negated their ability to score as well. So there'll be some lessons learned.
Matt Rowell, he started the year pretty impressively, right? Like, to carry on from what he did last week.
Yeah, he's really good.
The ball, just talk about what you're saying.
Yeah, well, he's great. Like the thing is, what he does, he wins the ball, and he bursts through tackle and he releases players, and that's what good players do. He's had a great impact in the first couple of weeks, and I thought the midfield, once again, our midfield were very good. Took and Noah and Sammy Flanders and Bailey Humphrey through there as well. So I thought they really held their own and gave us first opportunity to score. So I was really pleased with that aspect of not only Rowley's game, but all our midfielders. I thought we were really clean. I thought our first 3 quarters, where we just didn't blast the ball, we still tried to control the ball, probably set up the victory really. Late I thought we just couldn't get our hands on the ball and couldn't arrest momentum, but we were pretty pleased with the 80% tonight.
What did you see from your group defensively? You mentioned earlier in the week obviously how difficult they have been to slow down last year.
Yeah.
But you did slow them down for 90% of the match.
Yeah, that's right, and we're really happy with that. We've got a really good, like most good sides, you've got a really good understanding of what they do. Trying to stop that is the challenge. And look, conditions aside, it was always going to be a tough night for both sides to move the ball, but I think our system and our structure held up really, really well. Obviously, only giving up 3 goals or 4 goals maybe in the first 3 quarters. And look, as I said previously, their talent rose to the top in the end. A couple of those snap goals were just quite special by a couple of their players. So we were pretty happy with the vast majority.
Will you look into that at all? You had 7 goals kicked against you last week by Richmond, and then in a row, and then Adelaide kicked 5 in a row towards the end of tonight.
Yeah, well, like I said, there's things that you look at, and sometimes it's just special players do special things. The fact of the matter is, we can look at 1 quarter, or we can sit there and look at the 6 out of the 8 that we've been very dominant and probably had the opposition on the back foot. What are they going to look at? They're going to look at the 1 quarter where they kick 5, or they're going to look at the 3 quarters. It's a challenge of coaching, isn't it? So there's some things that we can certainly fix. Most sides will be in exactly the same boat, but what I sort of like to look at is, this is what we're doing really well, and this is what we can do to continue to go really well.
You're only 2 games into your tenure as the coach. How far along is the group, do you reckon, in terms of understanding what you want from them, your game plan?
We're on the journey, but once again, we've still got a long way to go in a lot of things. We're doing some things really, really well, and there's some other things that we can certainly improve at. And what I will say is that players are open to experience. They live and they learn through it. And one of the things today is with wet weather footy, I'll always say, listen, you guys play the game. You figure out what's needed at the right time. Play your moment, because if you sit there and you tell the guys to play wet weather footy, all of a sudden it does dry up and you just miss your chances because you're blast kicking the whole time. So, they'll get a better understanding of what that looks like. They'll put it into experience. We'll get some high definition, thoughts and processes with that, and work our way through it.
When you do your review, will you pick out something like Tom Berry in the first quarter, laying a tackle that forces the ball out of bounds, and then maybe not even as importantly, but the fact that he was able to slot the goal from outside the boundary line.
Yeah.
Not something that we really know Tom Berry for. He's someone who's really battled for a game, but you've given him a role.
Yeah.
Is that something that you'd be bringing up?
Yeah, it is. Well, that's why he's in the side. You know, he does that role really well. He's got incredible speed. He's a great, you know, physical specimen of a player as well that can create those things. What I'd like him to do when he kicks that goal is turn to his teammates, not necessarily to the crowd. There was actually no one in that section of the ground at that stage. I'm not sure what he was doing, but, you know, end of the day, he creates that goal, and we want to, you know, sit there and celebrate, but with the 17 other players on the field that help him achieve that. So, look, I think his first 2 games have been very good. You know, he's exactly what we're after with that style of role, the ability to play it and execute it to a really high level. So, you know, those pressure forwards are really important for us.
And perhaps could you just go over Alex Sexton's move to the back line at the moment and how he's going as well?
Yeah, he's going really well. Like, what I've been pleased with is, from a trait point of view, he fits the role of a rebounding defender for us. What I've been really pleased with is his aerial power and the ability to stay composed when the heat's there. You know, he's a really, really good decision maker with the ball, can distribute it well. So he's learning. You know, it's his second game down back, and I think he's grown into it well, and he's only going to get better. The challenge is he's 30 years old, so sort of I want him to get better quicker, sort of thing. So, but he's a player that takes it on board. He's a pleasure to coach, I'll give you that. Like, he's really open to learning, and, you know, his ability to play that role has really improved over the last couple of weeks as well.
Before the Richmond game, you sort of pleaded for fans to give you time. You felt like maybe the system wasn't where you wanted it to be. After 2 weeks and 2 wins, have you been at all surprised with the footy you've been able to play from where you were before the Richmond game?
No, we sort of hoped with a couple of changes. Like, the thing is, the game interconnects, so there can be one simple thing that you can actually do where all of a sudden it takes away, you know, whether it's your offence killing your defence or your defence killing your offence, vice versa. So there's some things that we identified that could make us better, which are sit there, and the great thing about our coaching group is they understood it, the players amended it, and then they executed it, which is really important. And so where we're at, well, we've still got a long way to go, to be fair. We're 2 rounds in. We've played 2 sides that, you know, probably vying for the same positions we are in the 8 sort of thing. So it's always pleasing to win. We're winning at home. Now we get to travel away. So let's see how we go then.
You kind of explained what you think's happening there with teams coming back. But is there just maybe a bit of ruthlessness that's not there yet? Or, like, where do you view that?
No, I think our look, once again, it's I'll have to go and look at the tape to see what it is, but there's a couple of simple breakdowns that we could get better at, no question with that. But as I said, sometimes the opposition do some pretty special things. Like, a couple of those goals were like, bloody hell, they're good goals. So we're not going to hang guys getting beaten in a contest. It's going to happen. What we can sort of sit there and realise that, listen, as a team we give up goals, not individuals. So we've just got to get that part of our game a little bit better.
You got to be pretty happy with Bodie Hewlin the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Tough ask.
Well, he's playing on some really good players, which is great. So once again, you know, he rises to the challenge. He doesn't say much, Bodie, but he certainly, you know, he's one of those guys I love because he doesn't have to say much. You just see the way he plays, and I think he's one of those players that our fans are going to love. He gives absolutely everything. You know, a bit like Nick Holman today. Like, Nick Holman, the cut that he had to his mouth, it's horrific sort of thing. Like, how he even came on, to be honest, back on for mine is a testament to the sort of guy he is and the sort of player that we want to have playing for our footy club, because, you know, I look at it and think, God, he's a braver man than I am. It'd be a tough night tonight with those stitches and with his lip split.
Any other injuries?
No, I think we're pretty good. So.
How was the Falcon?
The what?
The Falcon.
Yeah, Woodsy. What about that? I would have thought he was a bit tougher than that. He went down, didn't he, the big fella? God almighty, mind you, that's a big waterlogged ball. It's a pretty big noggin though, so yeah. No, it was a good hit. Thanks, guys.